So I fell out of the tree. I'm extremely nervous, and I might talk fast at first. Raise your hand if I go too fast. Okay. It's pretty long, 24 hours. I have my Wi-Fi all this now. Thanks everybody for coming. That was bad, wasn't it? Okay, back in 2006, I had a job. I worked there about 16 years. I think it was 15 years, something like that. And I was doing pretty good. My wife didn't have to work. I was making a good living. Yeah, excuse me, so. But anyway, we bought a new house. We bought a new truck. Things were going great. I was just walking down the street one day, and the whole world just started turning, and I felt it was going. So, went to the hospital. I had a mini stroke, and went to the doctor, and the doctor had ran all kinds of tests. It was EKGs, MRIs, and all this. Anyway, anyhow, they diagnosed me with BBI, I think it's called, Bronchobascular insufficiency. Couldn't say it fast. I could barely say it at all, so I had to abbreviate it. Anyway. I continued to work. I just took an aspirin. They just said take a baby aspirin. They didn't want me to do construction, but I did anyway because I'm stubborn. And so about a year and a half, and then it got really bad. I would get symptoms where my whole left side would fall asleep. My arm would fall asleep. I would get severe headaches. It was pretty good. They told me, they advised me not to work again. And I've seen 5 specialists, vascular surgeons, and all that other stuff. And but I couldn't work anymore. And I don't know, if you're a man, you work all your whole life, and I worked since I was 15, my dad. So I worked hard all my life, and for that to just stop, it was heart-wrenching. And it went on. More tests. I didn't work. I didn't have health insurance. I was $150,000 in the hole with medical bills, and it was pretty rough. And I didn't go to church. She would go every once in a while. And back then I thought Jesus and God was the same guy. I didn't know. It was rough. But within 4 months, I lost everything. Lost my house. Truck got repossessed. We had a crappy minivan. Lost my dog. That was, everything. We lost everything. So we had to move to Campbell County, and not a very good neighborhood and low-income housing. My wife went to work at a crappy job. It was pretty bad. 3 nights a week, she'd come home crying at least 3 nights a week. And it was rough on me. Like, I don't know. I went to the doctor, and they just kept putting me on medication after medication after medication. I was taking 4 Percocets, 3 Vicodin, heart medication, blood thinners, anti-seizure medication. The symptoms for the medication were almost just as bad as the symptoms I had, which were, I'd have to lay down for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and I'd feel dizzy all the time. I probably had about 20 mini strokes that year. It was pretty rough. And she continued to work. I continued to be angry. I was mad at least 6 days a week. At least, maybe 2 days a month I was happy. So it was pretty bad. And she stuck with me, and we worked through it. When we moved to Campbell County, I moved right next to a pastor. How did I miss that? Like, I look back on it now, like, I should have knocked on that guy's door and at least got some advice or something. But I didn't believe in healing back then, And I missed the spot. I'm nervous. The slide's not okay. Oh. Anyway, he'll have the symptoms up. But anyway, it's I was born with, you have 2 things in the back of your neck. And okay, I had about half those symptoms. I didn't have them all, but I did experience a lot of them. drop attacks I've never had, but there's a lot of them I had. And I was born without one vein in my neck, and the other vein was a fourth of the size it was supposed to be. So how do you ask for healing for that? I mean, to me, I was done. The doctors told my wife I had 5 years to live. That was 2008. I am 8. That was good. But it was a long road. It was 3 years that I didn't work solid, did nothing. I was angry. I was mad. I wouldn't pray. I would just say, take me home. I'm done. You know, my wife was starting to make good money. And I thought, well, if I die, at least I know she's okay. Filed for disability, was denied 3 times. It was horrible. Like, it was rough. And she started getting better income, and we moved to Independence. And then we started going to church at Impact Life, and that's where we met Pastor John, Pastor Randy. I'm sorry, she made me say Pastor because I kept saying John Randy. So I had to get that right. But anyway, pardon me. And we started going to Impact Life. In that time, she was sick as well. She had fibromyalgia. She would get headaches. Her bones would ache. And I'm still like, why is she still with me? Like, I'm just like a 3-time loser. I can't, you know, I was beating myself up. I had every chain on me that you can imagine. Depression, jealousy, anger. I mean, you name it, I had it. I did not show myself friendly at all. I showed myself angry. So no one ever come up to me, and that made me even more mad. What are you looking for? Why are you talking to my wife? You know, stuff like that. And I was bad off. And I slowly, in Impact Life, one day, I don't know, my faith grew a little bit at a time. It didn't like happen overnight. But I was there, and I was in the back row, because I was always in the back row. And I was just thinking to myself, God, man, I want to believe this is real, but I don't know. Like, I wish there was a sign that showed me, is this real? And I got a shove in the back. And I turned around like, touch me. You know, I was like, there's nobody there. I'm in the back row. I'm like, ooh, I can't tell anybody about this. Somebody touched me back there. I don't know what. So, you know, looking back on it, I know who touched me. I knew who said, this is real. It was God. You know, you know, and I had so many seeds of doubt. Like, I'm like, you know, there's just still no way he can heal me. I'm missing a baby. I mean, how do you know, I'm still in my head, you know, but I'd leave that door open, and that door was just enough for the devil to get in. And it doesn't matter if you have 90% faith, you give him 5, he's got it all. Right. And I was giving all of it. But I wanted better for my wife and my kids, and I didn't care about me. But it grew, and it was one day she'd asked for prayer. She was crying, and Pastor Randy grabbed her and drug her up there and started praying for her. And she said, "You come here," and she yelled at me, "Come here, Pastor Randy." And I ran up there, and I'm like, ooh. So she's like, you got to put your hands on her too, and you got to pray like you've never prayed before for her to be healed. And I did, and she started shaking, like her whole body started shaking. And I thought, I didn't know she was being healed. I'm like, my wife's had convulsions. I got to get her out of here. She shook for 20 minutes. She was all over, like she was wild. And then she would start shaking, and I'm like, Brandy, I think there's something wrong. Pastor Brandy, I think there's something wrong with her. And she's like, she's being healed. She's being healed. And I just, that put me about 99% faith. And then Pastor John Brandy wanted to start Remnant Ministries and asked us to go with him. And of course, we were going to go. But, so in Bertie's house, we're in a house, not a church. I'm in the back row against the wall. And I'm like standing up against the wall. And again, I still had about 99, so the devil had 110. You know, that's kind of how it works. If you don't put 100% in it, it's not going to happen. I was not feeling well, and I think she knew it. And I had my hands up like this, and then Pastor Brandy come running across the room, and she just put her hands on my head. I thought she was going to hit me at first, but she put her hands on my head, And I was like, I am going to believe 100% that I'm going to be healed. I'm not going to have these feelings no more. I don't care. And I can tell you, it was like I felt like a little kid. I felt like I was 6 years old. I've never felt that like before. And she was like, you got to come up here and get prayed for, and everyone's going to lay hands on you. And I'm like, healed. I feel great. But I'll go up there. I go up there and just like, get your hands up. You know. And I did, and I left, and I'm telling you, ever since then, I haven't had one symptom. And about 4 years I've been working. I worked part-time for a couple of years. I had friends that would say, just work with me when you feel good, and I'll pay you, 12, 15 bucks an hour. I wasn't making enough, like barely enough gas money. But I grew in my jobs, and I finally I landed one good job, and after 6 months they said, we're folding the company. I did not freak out. I did not panic. I prayed. I said, God's got this. I don't care. If he can heal me, he can give me a job. Yes. And he did. He got me a better job. And he gave me all the benefits that I had from the previous job. And I worked every single hour I can. I think like probably at least 70 a week, sometimes 60, 50. I'm getting all it. It's like, I feel like I'm making up for lost time. And the first day I worked like really, really hard was I was a carpenter, and I had to kind of start over. I worked my way up before to like superintendent, running jobs, and so I had to start completely over. And I did hardwood floor for 2 days, and I thought my body was going to be dead. And I didn't have a pain one. I woke up the next day and I didn't have no pain. I was on my hands and knees all day. And at 47 years old, that's tough to have no pain after not doing that kind of physical labor.
Right.
And it's pretty rough. But I can honestly say the last 2.5 years have been nothing but uphill. But that was the lowest of low for me. I was on so much medication. I take one aspirin a day now. That is it. I have like 16 pills was a lot. And you can see the symptoms now: double vision, blurred vision. We drive down the highway, I'd have to pull over and lay down in the car. I wasn't supposed to drive. They didn't write anything for me not to drive, but I didn't care. I didn't care about anything. I mean, unless kids in the car, then she drove. But, Anyway, that's pretty much it. And I appreciate my family coming and listening to my testimony. And I want to thank God. I want to thank everyone here for coming and praying for me all the time. I do appreciate everybody. And I think somebody's next.
About forgiveness.